And with me on the program now, Liberal frontbencher Senator Matthias Cormann. Senator Cormann, thanks for your time. Kevin Rudd says he's the underdog. The coalition is in front again in today's news poll to start this campaign. The Rudd disapproval rating up 6 points. That's got to be encouraging for you.
Well, look, we're not really focused on the polls. We're focused on talking to the Australian people about the choice that they're facing at the election on September 7. And of course, it's a very clear choice between a strong and united team led by Tony Abbott with a real plan for a stronger economy, for a more prosperous economy and for a safe and secure Australia. And on the other hand, a divided, dysfunctional, chaotic team with more of the same under Kevin Rudd.
Why doesn't Tony Abbott accept the invitation for a debate tonight? He said call the campaign and he'd be happy to have debates with Kevin Rudd, and yet the first one put to him, he's not undertaking that.
Well, I mean, look, Kevin Rudd is being quite juvenile in the way he's approaching this. We know that he's all about chaos. The truth of the matter is, of course, there will be a debate. In fact, there will be a series of debates, but there is a process with these sorts of things that you go through. The federal director of the Liberal Party has written to his counterpart in the Labor Party, and as usually happens in these sorts of matters, there's a proper process to be followed to make sure these things are set up properly. We understand that the Prime Minister is a bit desperate. We understand that the way he goes about things is a bit chaotic. He doesn't believe in process, but we're not gonna get distracted by this. We'll stick to our timetable. We stick to the way these things are done properly in a mature and adult fashion.
$200 million in additional support the government is promising today for the automotive industry. The coalition is promising, even before this announcement later today, $500 million less than the government. That could be quite telling in those seats where the automotive industry is very significant.
Well, let's see what the government announces today. We haven't seen any announcements. We know that there have been a number of leaks being put out there by spin doctors out of the Prime Minister's office. But, I mean, let's just remind ourselves, 2 weeks ago, Kevin Rudd hit the car industry for six with his overnight changes to taxation arrangements in relation to salary packaging of cars. So he's really here now proposing to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound that he has inflicted on the car industry. So, I mean, we of course will do as we always do. When these announcements eventually are properly made, we'll consider how it's funded, we'll consider where the money is supposed to be coming from, and we'll make a judgment in due course, and that'll of course be announced in the normal way.
The first Liberal advertisement is very positive. I'm going to play that a bit later for our viewers during our panel segment after the break. But in general terms, is this about trying to soften the edges of the Abbott persona, that his disapproval rating's still well over 50%? He hasn't convinced people yet that he's the right choice as an individual, as when in those leadership comparisons?
Tony Abbott is a very positive leader. He has very positive plans to build a better Australia. And of course, during an election campaign, I mean, part of your challenge is to make sure that people across Australia have a good understanding of what your positive, better plans for Australia are. And that's what we'll be doing between now and election day.
Senator Cormann, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. We'll chat to you many times throughout the next 33 days.
Always good to be